Let's talk about two of America's most elite universities. These are world-class institutions, places built on the very idea of safety and intellectual freedom. And yet, somehow, over just a few days, they were linked by a tragedy that, to this day, just defies any real explanation. This is the anatomy of that mystery. It all starts right here. Brown University, an Ivy League school, a name that's basically synonymous with academic excellence. And then it continues here, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. A global powerhouse for research and innovation. Within a matter of days, both of these communities were just shattered by unbelievable violence. The headlines told us what happened, but what they could never tell us was why. And really, that's the heart of it, that complete absence of a reason, of any kind of clear motive. It's this deeply unsettling void at the center of the entire story. So to really wrap our heads around the confusion, we first have to map out this sequence of events. Let's just piece together the timeline of what went down, and you'll see just how quickly everything fell apart. Okay, so look at this. December 13th, gunfire erupts at Brown. Just 2 days later, the violence jumps to Massachusetts, and an MIT professor, Nuno Loureiro, is killed. The very next day, the suspect is found, and by the 20th, the manhunt is officially over. But the search for answers? Well, that was really just getting started. This number says it all. 11. That's the number of casualties at Brown University. 2 people lost their lives. 9 others were wounded. A campus that was built for learning had been turned into a crime scene, just like that. So, with the manhunt done, the investigation suddenly pivots to one single, all-consuming question that literally everyone was asking. Who was the person responsible, and what on earth could have driven him to do this? So, here's what we know for sure. The suspect's name was Claudio Manuel Neves Valente. He was 48 years old, a Portuguese national who, and this is key, was once a graduate student at Brown. He'd entered the country legally. These are just the basic facts of a life, but they form a giant question mark, not an answer. And this, right here, is what makes the whole case so baffling. The investigators found nothing. No notes, no social media rants, no manifesto left behind to try and explain the violence. Just a chilling, absolute silence. Now, investigators did manage to find one tangible link. It turns out that both Valente and Professor Loureiro had attended the same university back in Portugal, years apart. But here's the problem. Nobody can say if this is a crucial piece of the puzzle or if it's just a completely random, meaningless coincidence. It's a connection without any context. The search for a person, that ended pretty quickly. But the search for a reason? Well, that became this massive, frustrating mission, pulling in resources from all over the country, all of them just staring into that same void. And make no mistake, this was not just some local case. The scale of the investigation was immense. We're talking the ATF, Homeland Security, multiple state police forces, you name it. This huge multi-agency response really shows you just how seriously they took the search for an answer. Not just for justice, but for any kind of pattern that could help prevent the next tragedy. So, finding the suspect, that was the end of one chapter for sure. But it wasn't the end of the story. The central question, the why of it all, remained completely, stubbornly unanswered. In the end, this is the deeply uncomfortable truth that authorities and, frankly, all of us have been left with. It's a conclusion that offers zero comfort. Just the stark, terrifying possibility that sometimes violence is just random. When an event like this happens, the shockwaves go far, far beyond the immediate tragedy. It forces a really difficult conversation about the nature of safety in the very places we are all supposed to feel the most secure. Think about it. At their very core, college campuses are designed to be open. They thrive on the free exchange of ideas, on collaboration, on this fundamental belief that it's a space defined by intellect, not by threat. And that right there leads to this really unavoidable, scary question. If institutions with all the resources and the reputation of a Brown or an MIT can be targeted, well, it kind of shatters the illusion that any place is perfectly safe. So this is the fundamental dilemma that pretty much every college administrator is grappling with right now. How do you possibly increase security without completely destroying the open, collaborative spirit that makes a university what it is in the first place? The conversation that's happening now, it's not about fear-mongering. It's a necessary, sober reevaluation of what campus safety actually means in the modern world. It is a reckoning with a new and deeply uncomfortable reality. Long after the headlines have moved on, there's one question that just hangs in the air. Is the story of Brown and MIT simply a singular, inexplicable tragedy? Or is it a warning? A warning about just how fragile our safest spaces might be. A warning that we are all still struggling to understand.